In this video, we're going to continue looking at jobs by intentionally failing our job. After that, we will disable and then re-enable our job. I'm currently on our project's main page, and based on our build history, we've had 2 successful builds. If I click on Build Now, we'll schedule an immediate build, and then Jenkins will respond with another successful build. However, I want to change this so it will fail next time. We need to access our job's configuration page. We could use the Configure menu item on the left. If we return to the dashboard, we could also hover our mouse over the name of our project, and then, when the drop-down caret appears, click that to expand out a menu for that job or project. Again, we have a Configure menu option. I mainly want to show how you can often get to the same place in multiple ways. And to that point, get to the Configure page the way you prefer. Once on the Configure page, click on the Build tab to jump down to that part of the page. Let's change our Windows batch command or shell command depending on your operating system. In this box, I will change it to a command that doesn't exist in Windows or Bash. We'll just add a D to the echo command and then save that change. Saving the change lands us back on our project's main page. Now, schedule another build. This time, we have a red ball, which means build number 4 was not successful. Like I demonstrated before, we can click on the ball itself to go to the console. But we also have the option to click on the date. Doing so takes us to that build's particular page. And from here, I also have the option to view the console output. The console output shows us exactly what happened, including each command that was entered. We see here that the decho command or decho command does not exist. Alright, so now that we've seen that, I'm going to go up to our project level, and now up to the dashboard level. At the dashboard, we see that our status is now a red ball, and it shows the status of the last build. We also have our weather icon that shows partly cloudy, which means one of the last 4 builds has failed. Well, let's change to weather. Since we know that the build is currently failing, we can keep building the project several more times. Each time, I recommend refreshing your web browser so the last status is correctly displayed. Watch how the weather icon becomes progressively worse. At around 4 out of 5 builds failing, the weather icon shows a thunderstorm cloud with lightning, which is really bad build weather. Let's round it off. Let's make sure that the last 5 builds have failed. Checking the status with the mouse shows all recent builds have failed. Like I mentioned before, the other stats for the build have been adjusting too. Let's continue by disabling the job or project. From the dashboard, go to the project. Once on the job's main page, one of the items available is to disable the job. Perhaps in this situation, I notice that I'm having a lot of problems with this particular build, and maybe it's just really hard to diagnose and find the problem. So, for now, I just want to disable the job. Now, I realize this job is contrived and very simple to fix, but this is for illustration purposes. So, I'm going to disable the job. Click on Disable Job, and now the job has been disabled. When the project or job is disabled, you won't be able to trigger any builds. The Build Now item is missing from the left menu. Also, if the build is supposed to trigger automatically, that won't happen either until we've re-enabled the project. If I go out to the dashboard, under Status, we have a gray ball, which means this job is disabled. It still retains all the other items listed with the exception of the Schedule a Build icon. Let's dive back into our project by clicking on Hello World, and then click on the Enable button, which re-enables the job. Also, we could enable and disable jobs from the job configuration page. In fact, the Enable/Disable buttons on the project status page is simply a shortcut to this setting on the configuration page. Now, if we go back to the dashboard, we see that the last known build status is displayed again.